A typical morning as a Hot Toys collector goes like this. You wake up, you check the Hot Toys official Instagram and Hot Toys official Facebook, you look at the latest announcements and releases, and typically they're categorized into 3 different categories. Number 1, I'm not interested in that. Number 2, I am interested in that. And then there's a special category reserved for announcements like this. Hi everyone, welcome to 16 Figure Focus, and in this very enthusiastic video, we're going to take a look at the newly announced Hot Toys 1/6 scale Robert Patrick T-1000 from the movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day from 1991. One of the greatest movies of all time. One of the greatest, it's actually one of the greatest things of all time. It's a pop culture phenomenon. Who doesn't know the T-1000? Even like kids these days who were born 10 years ago probably know who the Terminator is and probably know what the T-1000 is, or definitely would recognize some of the iconography. This is a hype video. This is as close to a day one pre-order or a dopo as it gets for me. I'm going to be contacting Lion Rock later on today and seeing what price we can get in them. So what can you say about this? We knew, if someone had told me at the start of this year, actually a lot of people told me, and I even speculated myself, because this year the only MCU movie was Deadpool and Wolverine. Loved it. It was fantastic. It made $1 billion. Super. Joker 2, yeah, we're not going to get into that. Put it this way, it didn't make $1 billion and it wasn't a 5-star movie. It wasn't a 4-star movie, realistically. I enjoyed it, but we'll just push that aside, okay? There was no Star Wars, no movies, no Star Wars movies. There wasn't a whole lot of proper comic book movies or science fiction movies or whatever. Okay, so, plus with the strikes of the last few years, people were speculating, maybe this is Hot Toys' chance that there's not a lot of content coming out, that perhaps maybe they're going to go back in and give us worthy upgrades in 2.0s of things like Alien, Predator, Batman, Terminator, and that's kind of what they've done. I mean, I've got the DX13 behind me. It still holds up to date and still one of their best Hot Toys products they've ever produced. It is fantastic. I wasn't crying out for an upgrade, but I am delighted with that DX46 because of the real leather and numerous other things, which check out my video if you want to hear my thoughts on that. They've given us a Batman Returns 2.0. It looks like that Xenomorph from Romulus, okay, not branded Alien or Aliens, which are the best 2 movies, let's face it. They have looked like they're teasing a Jungle Hunter Predator. So they're teasing a lot of these things, but they're not ending up in the graveyard. They're actually being produced. And this one, we saw teased at a kind of a toy fair a few months back or a few weeks back. And come on, let's face it, this is awesome. I mean, while I have the DX13 behind me and I have the police, the T-800 police shootout scene from the first movie, let's just stick to the DX13. If you look at the DX13 behind me, or if you have the DX13 and you've seen it, it holds up. It's an old figure, but my god, it still holds up. I had people, I was showing the collection there over the weekend, and they were blown away by a lot of head sculpts, and particularly that one as well, with all the battle damage and everything, and it wasn't even lit up, and I have the fusion reactor kit for it. So my point is that with these older figures, not all of them hold up, and some of them are very they're justified as being 2.0, and they definitely need upgrades. The DX13, while the DX46, I'm getting that too, and I'm really hyped about it, and I do think it's going to be better, and I do think it warrants the upgrade, hence why I put a pre-order down. But with the T-1000, on the other hand, I didn't work backwards to get that because it might have been alright in its day. It is dated. I don't think the head sculpt is that great, and I really don't like the body proportions in certain parts. For example, the one when you have the police helmet and the glasses on and that jacket, I think that jacket, the fitting and tailoring is very poor from what I remember. Now, I had the opportunity to buy it several different times on various different buy-sell trade groups and stuff like that, and adverts.ie here in Ireland and eBay, whatever, and they're actually prices. I was like, okay, they're actually very negotiable prices. They're fine. They're manageable. They're not anything crazy, but I just felt that they didn't hold up as much, or the T-1000 didn't hold up as much over time as, say, the DX13 did. So I opted to pass on the T-1000, hoping that they would give us an upgrade or 2.0, and I'm really glad I waited. I know that's a cliche among the community, but I am glad I waited. Let's take a look at this head sculpt. 100%, no doubt, this looks like Robert Patrick as the T-1000 from 1991 from that Terminator 2 movie. It looks incredible. They got the heads, the shape of his head right, the little kind of his ears, he does have kind of his ears kind of point up at the end very subtly as well. The texturing in the hair, the paint apps in the hair. I really don't want this to soften. They got the wrinkles on the forehead as well, just, you know, light wrinkles. He was a young guy. Again, the leanness in his face as well. This is one that thankfully has the separate rolling eyeballs function, although I wish there was just parallel rolling eyeballs function, but I understand they used to do that, but it broke a lot, so that's why they did the separate rolling eyeballs function. But the separate rolling eyeball function, it's kind of hard to get them right because, you know, they realistically should be parallel, otherwise it just looks a bit off. However, this here, it needs those moving eyes because, like, he did a lot of his acting with his eyes as well. It wasn't just his voice or his mannerisms, but like, yeah. So yeah, it's fantastic to have that. So I would score this probably about just a head sculpt. Probably about a 9 out of 10. I can't quite point out why I'm taking off that point, and the more I look at this, I might even bump this up to 9.5. It's a super strong head sculpt. I think a 9 is actually apt for this. And again, as the video goes on, maybe I see other angles and I bump it up or drop it down, but yeah, we'll see. I can't quite see why I'm not giving it the 10. Usually I'm able to point out because, okay, the face is too wide or too narrow or there's something up with the eyes, whatever. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think it's a very strong sculpt, and if it comes out like this, I'll be very happy. Hopefully there's no downgrading. Right, so let's flick through some of these images. I'm actually going to go to the very end. Okay, let's start off. This is everything that comes up. By the way, if I go over to Sideshow here, I want to take a quick look. I think it is up, but there's no official photos yet. So T-1000 2.0. I'm going to click shop all because if I click into it, it'll give me the price in euro, and most of my audience is American, so I want to get the price in dollars. I think the euro is 314 euro or something like that. But the price in dollars there, $330, around 314 euro, I believe. Click in, 315 euro and 28 cents. So they're keeping everyone happy, the Americans and the European viewers. So this comes with a lot. So $330 comes with 2 head sculpts with separate rolling eyeballs, regular and battle damage version. So I presume obviously the one that's non-battle damage, it has both eyeballs move, and then the one that's battle damage, obviously one of his eye is essentially gone because there's a big hole in the liquid metal on his face. And I'm guessing that other eye still moves, so you got a single rolling eyeball system there. Liquid metal effects, I do believe these are magnetic, and from what I remember, one of the complaints about the 1.0 of this is because they were magnetic, but sometimes I think some of the metal could actually corrode, and there's a little bit of a residue, like a rust almost, that could transfer onto his police uniform. So maybe be conscious of that. I don't know if that was actually an issue. I definitely heard it before. Let me know if you have the 1.0 and that happened yours, but again, you probably have to have it for years, and maybe in kind of, I suppose your environment matters. If there's humidity and then you have, I'm not sure what the magnets are made of, but maybe like in order to rust, what you need iron, you need oxygen, you need water. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're making these magnets out of, but I have heard that a little bit of corrosion can occur on the magnets and transfer onto the material of the figure. So maybe be conscious of that. 2 display styles. So what I'm seeing is he's dressed up as the cop on the left, and already from that tiny image I can tell that the proportions and the tailoring are better on this one, because that was one of the things that really put me off going backwards and getting the T-1000 1.0, which I had the opportunity to purchase multiple times. It was just the tailoring. It just looked like the jacket was very round, and then the legs would stick out underneath as opposed to being kind of a bit more tapered like it is here. So you got that kind of machine gun. I'm not sure the type of gun it is. You've got the helmet, you've got the aviators, and of course he's got some battle damage parts in there as well. Then he's got the arms that can be swapped out. He can, obviously he's liquid metal, he can, you know, form stabbing devices or hooks. So I think they've given you, by the looks of things, they've given you, I think, 2 hooks and 2 of the stabbing devices as well. We'll look a bit more in the other images. Now it's showing the boots here. It must be swap out boots, because if you look at some of these photos here, he doesn't seem to be wearing boots. It's like or maybe it's the boot underneath the pant, but then in other images it looks like just the boots are over the pants. I'm not sure if that's the same thing or they swap outs or what. I'd imagine it's just maybe they're tucking the pants into the boot in some photos and over another. And then you've got that kind of, you see this battle damage, the boots here. In this case, the boots are an accessory. So I think what you have here is, on the bottom right here, you have the scene towards the end after he's been frozen with the liquid nitrogen and blown apart, and he's starting to glitch, and he's starting to, every time he stands on something metal, his body is involuntarily mimicking the metal he's standing on, or something like that. So what you have here on the bottom right, that boot there is taking the form of the ground he's standing on. And a specially designed diorama base with LED light up function. I gotta say, I love this. I like that underglow they've got going on there, and I like the kind of guardrail with the chains and stuff like that. I think it's, not sure if it's similar or the exact same as the, I think it's the same as the DX46. Bunch of swap on hands, again, some like stabbing devices or stabbing motions. You got this one where he's like his pointing fingers turning into a like a blade, which I think he uses on the cop in the rehabilitation or mental institute, and also again on Sarah Connor's shoulder as well. And then you've got like his kind of belt with the holster, and yeah, he comes with the machine gun, the handgun, the handcuffs. Is there like a little walkie-talkie? We'll look at the bigger pictures in a minute, and a bunch of swap on hands. $330. I think the value is here. There's no question I'm getting this. No question. I mean, this could have, like, it's not cheap. None of these are cheap. They're luxury items, but I could have seen this priced as $365, and then people having a conniption because it's too expensive, but then getting it anyway. So $330, I can see the value here. The two different head sculpts, the battle damage swap out parts and clean parts, the police motorcycle look with the helmet and the aviators and that gun, and of course you can swap out the battle damage parts, and then the stabbing devices for the two arms, the hooks, the LED, it's LED but it's USB powered, I believe, because I saw an image there earlier on with a wire coming out the back. So again, that's going to look incredible as well. So glad that they're going back 2.0 on a lot of these things. It seems like a matter of time now before they release or put up for announcement that Jungle Hunter Predator from the first Predator. And I imagine the Alien from Romulus is coming up. Hopefully that opens the gateway and they give us Ripley from Alien and Aliens, and you know, Big Chap, and then the Alien Warrior from Aliens, because that's really what I want from them. But this is a great day. So yeah, just looking this. So this is kind of regular look, non-battle damage. Again, separate rolling eyeballs function. That image there is not the best likeness. Not sure exactly why I'm not giving it 100%. Like as I said earlier on, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I think it's a really, really strong head sculpt. I think it's a 9 out of 10. I can definitely see Robert Patrick. Something about that way there. Like if we go back here, I see Robert Patrick significantly more here. Okay. And it could be just the angle and the lighting. I gotta say, the one on the right here, this is a bit of a strange thing to say, but here I kind of see a little bit of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's weird. But that one there, the likeness is tip top there. I really like that. But yeah, but a 9 out of 10. Yeah. So you got these liquid metal effects. They magnetically attach to the body. Again, $330 for this specially designed diorama base with LED light up function. Just tell us it's USB powered. Yeah, you can see it there. See on the one on the right, you can see something plugged in. A wire plugged into the back. Yeah, so that's surely USB powered. I presume it's in the description. If you read it, it'll say that. Alright, flicking through all of these. So yeah, looks good. There's so many different ways of displaying this. I mean, let's just say, right, so you have it like this. Let's say you just have it on the base, and then you have, I'm not sure how they're doing this boot on the left, because I've seen the clean ones, and now the one on the left here, it's kind of orangey and metallic, and it has the texture. It's interesting. It has a texture not of what he's standing on here. When he stood, the texture on his left foot now is the texture of what he was standing on, that metal part, like a drain cover or something like that. I remember when he stepped on it. So it's funny that it's a bit strange seeing him posed here with not the texture that he's standing on, for making sense. Because yeah, if you look at his left foot here in the movie, when he stands on like this kind of, like, I think it was like a silver metallic kind of a flat metal piece he stands on, has all these little rivets on it, and then because he's glitching, his foot mimics the metal he's standing on. So he realistically, obviously this isn't screen accurate then if you're putting him on this stand, that's what I'm saying. Not a deal breaker at all, total nitpick. This looks incredible. I love the inclusion of the chains, and even like the yellow and black on the guardrail there. It kind of adds just a bit of pop of color as well. I love the underglow here. It's actually the same kind of color as the Besbin Luke diorama, which I have lit up behind me as well. It's probably directly behind me, but I really like that glow, that kind of orangey yellow color. Here is fantastic, because what I love is when you get these DX figures or figures with a load of accessories, that you can pose them using a lot of those accessories, but without making it look like you're just trying to shoehorn them all in. Perfect example. I got the Chrome Mando and I've recreated that scene. I got the deluxe version. So I recreated that scene where he's crashed the speeder bike because these bandits try to ambush him, and the speeder bike is exploded, and then he's got to get to the nearest town or whatever, carrying Grogu in the satchel, which obviously the figure comes with Grogu and the kind of the satchel thing he's holding onto. He's got like his rifle on the back and his jetpack. Then he's using one of the handles of the speeders to kind of carry the meat from, I think it's a crate dragon, all of Boba Fett's reclaimed armor and jetpack, and then his own jetpack and all that stuff. And so you can pose a lot of what comes in the box in one scene, and it makes sense because that actually happened. This is similar because you can have you can pose them up like I don't know if exactly this particular combination happened, but you can do a head cannon, I suppose. You can pose them up with the battle damaged head. You can use that. I presume that left eye then is movable. You can pose that up whatever way you want. You can put all these magnetic bullet holes on him, and then these hooks that he comes with as well, and the kind of glitching out left foot. And you're using a lot, and the base course, so you're using a lot what comes in the box. So here's the clean looking head, and then see, look, if the left foot, it's not battle damaged then, so that must be just a swap out. And if you notice as well, the boots are over the pants here, so I wonder, are the boots swap out as well? Does he come with shoes and boots? That's not very clear. I'd imagine maybe in these photos the pants are tucked in, and in other photos they're just not tucked in. So there's that glitching out bottom left leg as well, from the knee down there, and that's the clean from the top up. I'd never pose him like this. I'd pose him clean, but he'd be doing the kind of that iconic no look with his finger. So again, some battle damage parts. I'm just looking here. That's funny. Is this the basic belt here? But here he's got like the belt with all the different pouches, and it looks like there's a torch on his right hip and a walkie-talkie antenna, I think. And then on the left you've got a holster and a few little packs. So seems to have come with a regular belt like this, and then a belt with kind of holsters and stuff. Yeah, there's the regular belt again. This comes with a lot. Love the way it says Austin as well. That was the first kind of so he looks like this because that was the first shape I think he took on. He killed a cop at the start, wasn't it? And look, this, like, they could have so easily done us dirty and said, like, T-1000 2.0 motorcycle version, and give us this and a few little trinkets or whatever like that, different dio or something, and then giving us like the other more standard, but they didn't. And I like that. A lot of people would say, oh, buy two, but in this day and age when you've got like you've got HotToys, you've got InArt, you've J&D if you're so inclined, you've got that, what's that new caustic plastic, Maestro, you've got Jazz Ink. It's a great time to be a collector, but we're spoiled for choice. We really are. There's so many companies doing high quality and interesting things and different IPs, and going back to this 80s and 90s stuff or whatever, that it's space and money are always going to be your collector's enemies. So as much as I'd like to get two of these, I'm not going to, because I think that takes the fun out of it. Like, I can pose it like this on my shelf for 3 months and then come back and go, right, I'm bored of that. Get rid of the helmet and the glasses and this jacket, and then just change him to his standard, the normal default look for the T-1000, or swap in the battle damage part. There's so much you can do with this, and that's where the value comes in for me. If you're I think that angle looks great. I think that's where the value comes in as well. That's where you get your value out of $330. I mean, if you just pose them in one pose and leave them there, you're probably not getting the value. And I do it as well. There's certain figures that I just really like to pose, and it's kind of like set and forget. Yeah, I really like this head sculpt. Definitely see Robert Patrick in it. No question, but I think it's a very strong head sculpt, to be clear. I think this figure is close to a 10 out of 10 if it turns out like this with the head sculpt as well. Maybe kind of like a 9. I'm not sure if that maths even maths, but folks, yeah, look, you knew if you've been following the channel that before you even watched the video that this is a slam dunk. This is as close to the day one pre-order for me. I might actually do a live stream later on just to talk about it because I'm very excited about it. But yeah, look, that's the end of the video. If you want to support the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Consider becoming a channel member. You can also follow me on Instagram and on X. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.